The Incan Empire stretched roughly 2,500 miles along the western coast of South America, wrapping entirely around the treacherous peaks of the Andes. To govern this territory meant managing up to 10 million citizens. The state had to track precise caloric reserves, allocate military equipment, and map out sprawling stone infrastructure across some of the most unforgiving terrain on Earth. Yet the Incas managed this geopolitical feat despite a significant historical anomaly. They did it without a written alphabet. They are the only Bronze Age-level civilization to build a state of this magnitude without one. There were no letters to dispatch, no ink, no paper, and no written ledgers to balance the logistics. Governing millions of lives across a brutal mountain range without a system of writing represents a seemingly impossible administrative bottleneck. To solve it, the empire developed a radical technological leap. This is a quipu. To the Incan state, this physical device operated as a highly portable, sophisticated data storage drive. By tying specific knots into these hanging strings, a heavily centralized bureaucracy could record, transport, and re-examine vast amounts of state data. The system was programmed and decoded by specialized state accountants called quipucamayocs. They were masters of a strictly tactile language. These clusters of dyed string functioned as hard data, the primary input for every state decision made by the Incan bureaucracy. We can see exactly how the quipucamayocs processed that data by looking at the mathematics of the device. This diagram represents a single chord from a quipu. It operates on a strict base 10 decimal positional system, mirroring modern mathematics. On these chords, spatial positioning dictates the value. Single units, or the ones position, are always tied at the very bottom of the string. As you move higher up that exact same string, the knots represent tens, then hundreds, allowing an accountant to cleanly record a specific number like 341. They even engineered a mechanical execution for 0. If a tier is left intentionally empty with a gap in the knots, the value drops accordingly. This mathematical syntax meant the state could record large numerical values using nothing but spatial awareness and friction. But a numerical value is useless to an auditor if they don't actually know what item is being counted. To solve this, the physical shape of the knot itself acted as a structural data label. A figure-8 knot recorded a different category than a long knot with multiple turns. Looking closely at these surviving chords, we see a complex color coding matrix. Specific dyes denoted distinct assets: yellow for gold, white for silver, green for agriculture. The spreadsheet was entirely modular. Tiny secondary strings tied into the primary vertical chords indicated specific subcategories or exceptions. By combining a knot's shape, its structural spacing, and the color of the fiber, the state encoded a simple string with the complexity of a three-dimensional spreadsheet. Once programmed, these physical databases had to move. They were carried at high speeds across the mountains by relay runners, passing between provincial capitals to update the central government. The empire's ultimate economic objective was the mita. This was a mandatory labor tax extracted from the citizens to build and maintain state infrastructure. Enforcing the mita demanded absolute demographic oversight. It turned the quipu into an instrument of census tracking. The state collected data points on every single village. They logged births, counted the deaths, recorded the marriages, and the able-bodied laborers available at any given time. Through the quipu, the centralized bureaucracy effectively reduced millions of human lives into discrete, standardized data points, optimized for state extraction. The physical manifestation of this data processing can still be seen today. The state directed massive agricultural infrastructure, engineering geometrically precise terraces to maximize crop yields and prevent starvation. Those agricultural yields were then mathematically balanced against the demographic data to systematically supply standing armies and fill provincial storehouses. This relentless auditing extended beyond human labor to cover every critical state resource, capturing exact counts of livestock herds spread across the plains. They executed this absolute macroeconomic dominance over millions of people without ever writing a single word. The Incan emperors did not maintain control over the treacherous Andes simply through military conquest. They ruled through the relentless accuracy of an exhaustive, knotted database.